Perfect.
It's good morning, Tyree Barnette. Welcome to Yellow Shelf.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Congratulations. Your book, a memoir, is out now. Got it here. Stolen Man on Stolen Land. Congratulations. Tell us all about the book.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's I like to think of the book as a modern day multicultural migration story. And that's a big phrase, but what it basically to me means is that, we live in a world now that's increasingly globalized and people have freedom of movement. And so for myself, it centers on the growing expatriation that I've been seeing, a movement of especially African Americans exploring borders outside of the US. And so, what that process looks like in kind of a modern context and what that means. It's also, the book itself is a love letter to both the US and what I love about the US, and a love letter to Black America as well as Greater America. And it's also a love letter to Australia, my new home, and what I've found and enjoyed here as well. And it's about the journey of, making home and making belonging work wherever you are. And of course, that traditional challenge of being an expat sort of between two worlds, two cities, two backgrounds, etc., and meshing that into one, I guess, identity.
Yeah. And the book explores lots of themes. It obviously explores your lens, your experience, your journey. But it also explores, what race, identity, and belonging feels like. Do you want to tell us a bit about you and as an author? You arrived in Australia in what, 2013?
Correct. So yeah, pretty much in 2013, my wife and I arrived to Sydney. We had what was then a 457 work visa,
Yes.
where we were able to get a job because we're skilled migrants. So there's obviously a bit of privilege with our story in terms of our move. And so that's kind of where the book picks up. It picks up first with before us leaving the U.S. My wife had volunteered for the Obama administration, so it was his second term. We're leaving the U.S., in good hands. We're feeling confident that now is the time to explore abroad, and so we arrived to Australia, and then from there, my story just kind of picks up is looking at the kind of the differences in workplace culture, differences in cultures in general, the nuances in Australia, and also our really initial love and being enamored with the city of
Yeah.
Sydney and being a global city and being so much different than what we're accustomed to, and just kind of how we dove in and experienced our first summer in Sydney, which happened to be the hottest summer on record. And it feels like every summer since it has been the hottest summer on record. So we
And
got
it
quite
is
an
right now
introduction.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and yeah, I guess, when people read this book, they're going to explore that idea that, you come to Australia, you're curious, you're wide opened about what your journey ahead may look like. And then I guess the story unfolds into your what reality looks like.
Exactly. So there is that sort of at first rose-colored glasses on, oh, everything here is great.
Exciting. Yep.
The weather is great. There are beaches,
Yeah.
within a drive. Very different from the US in terms of pace is
Yes.
slower, easier, work-life balance is there. In one part of the book, I described that my workplace has a drink cart, which I had never seen in the US before, of like just alcohol during
Yeah.
work hours. And I was like, you don't
Wow.
do this every Friday. You just have like beer and wine, you know? And so, but from there, it then, reality starts to set in and you do
Yes.
see that, okay, this place is not perfect either. There is racism, there is assumptions, there is prejudice. There's also with the fact that, and I touched on this several times, though, the fact that African American culture is so tied with American culture that I have the unique privilege of my culture preceding my arrival. And so there's a
Yeah.
lot of also kind of myth busting
Yes.
amongst people who have an assumption about Black Americans. And so just dealing with that curiosity people have
Yeah.
and that fetishization at some point people have,
Yes.
and just navigating through this world of you're in the US, you're Black American, you just
Yeah.
blend in, unless someone wants to cause you trouble or whatever. But here it's like you're a bit of a fascination, you're a bit exotic, so people want to
Yeah.
engage with you and getting accustomed to that constant, sometimes unwanted attention as well.
Yeah. So, Tara, you've been here in Australia more than a decade. I'm curious if you could
Hmm.
share about why write the book? Obviously, it's your memoir, so it's your but what inspired you to write? And what do you hope the readers, yeah, tune into?
Sure. So before I started writing a manuscript, I had written a few pieces for SBS Voices.
Yes.
And one of the more popular pieces that I had written for them was just on my experience being Black American, and kind of an article on what I encounter in nightclubs and grocery
Yeah.
stores and at work, and sort of how it feels to be in my shoes. And
Yeah.
that really resonated with a lot of people on Facebook and social media
Yeah.
from all different backgrounds who saw themselves, saw their experiences. And a lot of times it helps just to see that, oh, someone else has been through that sort of
Mm.
same experience or had that same encounter that I had. I wasn't just making it up or being overly sensitive. It
Yeah.
actually did happen. And so that's what inspired me to write the book, and seeing that there were so many people that identified and actually cared and had something to
Yeah.
say about my experience. I didn't think that it would resonate with so many people. And then, so what I want people to get out of the book is that one, we should definitely celebrate Australian multiculturalism. We should celebrate multiculturalism anywhere abroad, and that it is an asset, not a liability.
Yeah.
And that two, we should also celebrate and recognize cultural contributions
Mm.
that come out of Black America, and recognize that, these cultural contributions have an origin story, and that there is a bit of ownership there as well. And it's fine to celebrate, but it's also important to pay homage there. And then thirdly, it's really just a story of a young couple, because my wife is very much part of the story,
Yes.
starting a family and just going through
Yeah.
things like having children, and
Yes.
also going through, which is a big part of a couple of chapters, the Australian healthcare system, and realizing
Yeah.
how many things are for free, and universal
Yeah.
healthcare.
Yeah.
That still amazes me, still shocks
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And so it is a story that no matter what your background is, you can identify with it. It does center the African American perspective because that's who I am,
Yeah.
but it's a story that can readily resonate with anyone who's moved abroad or visited a country or was curious about visiting a country or
Yeah.
has kids or knows some of the kids. It's so many different kernels and similarities that
Yes.
we all have that are shared in this book.
Yeah. And Tyree, timely release of the book. It's coming up to I guess Australia's National Day of uh recognition, and people within Australia look at that differently, and that's fine. What what I want to do is put in the show notes here in this interview, the SBS article, and obviously you work there, and ways to connect with you in the book. I think the book is very timely. It'll inspire people to think about, yeah, what they see around them, what their experiences has been, and also just be open-minded about others' journey. How do we connect with you and the book? So I'm connected on Instagram. I'll put that link in. But is there any other way we can connect with you or the book?
Sure. So yeah, aside from my Instagram account, I also have a few events coming up with the Sydney Writers Festival.
Yes.
One of which is actually going to be, if you're in the Sydney area, the State Library of New South Wales is having a talk with myself and acclaimed novelist Muhammad Ahmad on Thursday, the 12th of February,
Yep.
at 6 p.m. So tickets are on sale now. And I'll also be doing some other events with the Sydney Writers Festival, especially through a sweatshop writers group that I'm a part of, uh, that actually help mentor and bring this book to the shelves. And so you can definitely check out sweatshop.ws. That's their Instagram handle as well, to see myself and other diverse writers, writers of
Yeah.
color and their perspectives and where they'll be. And then finally, of course, as the book festivals are finalized, I will be posting those on my Instagram.
Yeah,
I've got a few regional ones, so as soon as I'm given permission or confirmation that I can
yeah,
share
yeah,
those,
yeah,
I'll share where I'll be going
yeah.
into further into the year. Absolutely.
Well, Instagram's definitely going to be a place where people can easily go, but I'll put in some links to the sweatshop to and even to the Writers Festival because that's super interesting. Tyree, all the best with what is a very exciting time ahead with the book launch. I'm going to be cheeky and ask you, did you love the process of writing? Would you write again?
So that's a great question. So, I did enjoy the process of writing because I had a writers group that I was
Yeah,
writing with, and so I think even though writing is a very solitary, disciplined, lonely process, if you have a support group
yeah,
and if you set those small goals, and if you reward yourself for reaching those small goals, it can be more enjoyable. And so yeah, it doesn't have to always be a slog. It's not always sitting in
yeah.
a dark room with a candle banging away at a keyboard. It can be a much more of a collaborative, immersive
Yeah,
process. And it can be a lot of fun, but it
yeah,
does take patience, persistence,
doesn't it?
and discipline. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, well done. If there are more books in the future, I would love to have you back to support you, but certainly enjoy the journey of this one. Great to meet you.
Likewise, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Cheers.